Hey and welcome. Truthiverse is an audience-supported podcast and an audience-supported Substack as well. You can find me over there on Substack at official Brendan Murphy. And if you enjoy this work, please join the growing body of consciously evolving minds and voyage with us into forgotten and forbidden realms of knowledge. So do hit that like button, share with your fellow seekers, and if you hadn't yet, please do consider becoming a paid subscriber, whether it's over on my Substack or through buying me a coffee right here via the podcast. Also, feel free to check out my private evolutionary accelerator, Evolve Yourself, over at evolveyourself.live for the free masterclass. And of course, I do invite you to join me inside the members-only Truthiversity for all premium content, including part 2 of every podcast. See truthiversity.com for more information. Researching, writing, and podcasting is what I do full-time, so thanks in advance for your support. It does mean a lot to me. Swedenborg's Heresy, How One Mystic Outraged the Church, and Why. Emanuel Swedenborg, a 17th century Swedish polymath, was a figure whose life and work left an indelible mark on the realms of spirituality, philosophy, and mysticism. Born on January 29, 1688 in Stockholm, Swedenborg initially gained recognition as a scientist, engineer, and inventor, making significant contributions to various fields such as metallurgy and crystallography. However, it was his profound spiritual experiences that catapulted him into the realm of mysticism and made him one of the most compelling figures of his time, one whose works and insights resonated all the way into the 21st century. Around the age of 56, Swedenborg began to report vivid visions and encounters with angels, demons, and spirits from other realms. These mystical experiences formed the basis of his groundbreaking theological and spiritual writings, including works like Heaven and Hell and The Divine Love and Wisdom. Swedenborg claimed that he had been granted access to the spiritual world, providing detailed insights into the afterlife, the nature of God, and the interconnectedness of the spiritual and material realms. His teachings merged Christian theology with a unique cosmology, influencing a diverse range of thinkers from poets like Blake to philosophers such as Kant. The combination of Swedenborg's scientific background, compelling personal experiences, and profound spiritual insights made him a captivating and enigmatic figure, one who happened to make the church hierarchy of his time a little less than totally comfortable. One of the most contentious aspects of Swedenborg's theology was his rejection of the orthodox concept of the Trinity. He argued that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit were not distinct persons within a single Godhead, but rather different aspects of one divine being. This indicates a supramental or mystical level of insight on the Swedes' part, something the Church was never overly fond of. This departure from accepted Trinitarian doctrine provoked strong opposition from the Church, leading to accusations of shock horror heresy. To make matters worse, Swedenborg's ideas about the afterlife were equally unconventional. He described a complex spiritual world with multiple heavens and hells, something the Hindus and Buddhists had already discerned centuries prior, suggesting a more nuanced and individualized system of so-called salvation than the traditional exoteric Christian understanding. These teachings only fueled the perception that Swedenborg's mystical experiences were undermining established religious authority, and we can't have that, can we? Swedenborg's clairvoyance and visionary experiences allowed his mind access to information most humans of his era were simply not privy to. The majority of believers just believed in the church-approved words on a page. They weren't able to empirically test the ideas through direct experience. Regarding eschatology and the hereafter, there were a number of key areas in which the Christian mystic departed from church doctrine. Number 1, he stated there was only a thin veil separating heaven and earth. And this is accurate. An alteration of consciousness is all it takes to make the transition from the kenoma, or the physical matter world, into the imaginal realm, or pleroma, the non-physical worlds superposed over the physical. Readers of my first book know this is indisputable. Book 2 will take us far deeper into the other side. Number 2, Swedenborg described life in the heaven worlds in similar terms to earth life. They would be of a tangible material character, but in spiritualized form. People did not undergo a radical transformation, and their basic sensory capacities continued to function without the physical body. The afterlife Swedenborg saw featured cities, houses, parks, gardens, and people going about fairly ordinary Earth-like activities. Again, this is accurate insofar as the lower heaven realms do possess form, and people's personalities do remain basically the same whilst there. The mid to upper astral planes do indeed feature the elements Swedenborg reported. They are essentially apotheotic versions of familiar Earth life. Number 3. According to Swedenborg, heaven was just a stage in the spiritual journey, not the final resting place of what had become Christian theology. Here, people would be engaged in worthy activities that would bring them closer to God, which was not a person to him, but the love-filled foundation of existence. Again, this is accurate as far as the lower heaven worlds of form-having astral and mental planes go. I'll elaborate on these ideas in great detail in Book 2. Regarding God being the love-filled foundation of existence, this is precisely what thousands of people who have had near-death experiences, that is, physically died, have been telling us for centuries, though at an exponential rate, since the advent of modern resuscitation techniques. This is, in fact, the perennial insight of sages and mystics who have penetrated beyond the psychic layers of anthropomorphic thought-form deities and saviors over the millennia. Number 4. Swedenborg emphasized the importance of developing the capacity to give and express love. This too is on point, and it follows naturally from God as the love-filled foundation of existence, as we are all creations of the Creator/Source. Also heavily emphasized by many modern near-death experiencers and psychonauts of all stripes, a prevailing theme in fact. It is supported by biblical passages too, though that little fact is often overshadowed by other aspects of the rather schizoidal and self-professedly jealous God we find in the Old Testament, along with other problematical elements like the mistranslations of Sheol into hell. Number 5. Personal accountability. According to Swedenborg, ultimately each soul was capable of seeing themselves honestly and judging themselves in the hereafter, and then choosing how to proceed on the path to everlasting life and bliss, at which point we all become angels, his terminology. And this is also accurate, albeit an overly simplified rundown, and we need to qualify the term angels. Personal accountability is a core insight from the vast worldwide near-death experience database, as well as from any other worthy source of so-called mystical insight. You would think by now the idea would have caught on a little more widely, but it seems portions of humanity are still struggling to move beyond the idea that all one need do is believe fervently enough in their chosen deity or holy book, and that will suffice to book a seat on the cloud, so to speak. Unfortunately, that isn't how things work. Post-mortem experience without a physical body is entirely dictated by the state of consciousness one has arrived at over one's lifetime. What kind of state was your psyche in when you finally crossed over? What kind of person were you? These are the things that matter. If you're a discerning, open-minded and dedicated seeker who loves a good deep dive into the nature of reality and consciousness, then do check out my book, The Grand Illusion, composed of over 10,000 hours of research and experience. Find more information and reader reviews at brendandmurphy.com/TGI.